too long, but I'm just going to go ahead and give you, it's not really part three because it's not him talking to me, but there's a dream that I had because, I can say that I'm a quitter in certain things, like when things get really hard, is if the juice is not worth the squeeze, right? All that. So the situation is like, I was contemplating, like, I know he's real now, but like, am I going to make it to heaven, right? And I'm just like, listen, I'm real. I'm realistic. I'm real all the way. I can't do fake. I've tried doing fake. I don't lie because I feel dirty. I can't do fake. I feel wrong. Like, it's just part of me since I was young. And so the situation is that I was telling God, I was like, man, I don't, thinking this is, I wasn't right in my head, I guess, that much. And so I was thinking like, I don't know if I'm going to make it to heaven. Like, am I, not really thinking about what he did for me, but trying to like earn my own way, I guess. And so I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it, right? Like, let me know if I'm gonna make it or not, because like if I'm not, I can go to parties, I can go do drugs, I can, be with women, I could do all these different things. I'm not gonna go rob nobody. I'm not gonna go, rob a bank or do anything like that, right? Like I'm just gonna go and live fun because I'm going to hell anyway. Let me know if I'm not making it. Let me just go have my fun now and then, deal with the circumstances. And so I have this dream. I was in the truck, my dad was driving at the time, and I had this dream where I had a dream of heaven. And I'm gonna tell you the whole dream from start to finish, and there's a few things that I know like about it, but then there's other stuff that I don't even know what it means, right? So anyway, first I woke up. Like, I was in a place, and it was inside a castle, just put it that way, like a Middle Eastern, or, like the castle with the bricks or whatever. And there was a bunch of windows on the walls, and it was a big room. A lot of people just were there. And they all just ran into, everybody wanted to look outside, including me, and they all just ran to the windows. And the windows got full. You couldn't fit to look out the window. And so there were some stairs. So we ran up the stairs, though, a group of us. We ran up the stairs, and we got to the next room, and the next room was smaller with less windows. And people just took those windows. And then we ran up to the next window, and then took those windows. And I don't know if it was 3 or 4, but the last room, I remember we ran up, and there was only 3 windows. There was the stairs to my back, 3 windows in front of me, and there was smaller windows. Every time it's smaller windows. And so there was 1 person per window, and there was no room. Like, there was only enough for 1 person, and they had their bodies kind of like sticking in the window, so you couldn't really see. And I looked up, and there was a hole, a square hole in the ceiling, and it was like I got lifted up. I didn't climb up. I got pushed up. I got lifted up, and then I was on top of whatever the structure was, like outside. And I looked up, and there was an eagle flying over, right? And as I looked at the eagle, my eyesight left my head, zoomed, flying into the sky, and went into the eagle's body. And now I was on top of the eagle I was in the eagle looking down. And the eagle was flying over the earth. And then his eyes shot out, and it went into multiple different animals. I'm talking about like multiple, I don't even remember the number, but it was, who knows, right? It was a lot, right? And it was like, I don't know how to explain it because it was crazy. That's like, my eyes shot out, but it split into, so imagine you have 2 eyes like you normally do, right? You see normally, and then my eyes split, and each split was 2 eyes going into each animal, and I was able to see through each eye all at the same time. Like imagine, what they show in the movies, the fly flying over, and it has a bunch of little TV squares or whatever, but imagine there was no lines in it. It was just like everything was going different directions, whatever. It entered the animals that were on the ground. And then from the animal's vision, the vision basically became one again, and it engulfed the earth, right? And it came all the way 360 around the earth. And when it came back, it went into the eagle, right through the back of the eagle, and it went back into the eagle. And so then I woke up again, and now I'm on a beach, or at least it was white sand, and they had those white tents, and there was 4 of us. There was 2 men and 2 women per tent, and I can only see, like, I couldn't look to the right, to the left, and I could see multiple tents, and I could see multiple groups of 4, right? And then that there was a big rock, and then on top of it was that structure. It was like a cascading structure, like a castle. But it's not like a pyramid, but it was like, square cascading, like up and down, and so small on top, obviously next, right? And then we were all talking about what happened, and we were like, oh man, that was crazy, right? Like, oh yeah. And the feeling that I had was I don't know if it was better or it was the same. I can't remember clearly, but it was so good that it's like I knew I was in heaven, because it was just like I felt that feeling of loving God. I felt that like it was peace, and it was extra. There was like extra peace, extra like I don't know how to explain it. It was just, everything was just so serene. Everything was so like, again, peaceful, love, the best feeling ever, like, and whatever. And as we were talking, and they're like, yeah, that was crazy, right? Yeah, man, you remember? Oh man, like we all experienced it, right? And then I looked at one of the women that were there, and it was like the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. It was crazy. And it's like I saw her and I loved her, right? But it was, again, another thing that I can't really explain. The only way I can explain it is like, it's a love without zero lust, zero sexual desire, zero, and I guess like maybe men can understand this, whatever. But when you look at a woman, you know, instinctually you already look like as a potential mate or whatever. It just at least for me, like that's when you look at women, that's the first kind of thing. It wasn't even like that. It was just like a purest love, form of love that has no malintent, no lust, no sexual desire, no nothing. It was like again, the purest love. I can't explain it, right? And then I woke up, and so I know that the part that I know is that running up the stairs is the first will be last and the last will be first, right? I was the last one to get there, but then yet I was on top, so I was like first. And then the other one was the eagle. Found out later on, the eagle is the spiritual animal. So you have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Same thing with the four heads of the beast, the four beasts, right? You have a lion, which is Matthew. You have the Mark is the beast, is the ox, you know, the bull ox. Luke is the human face, and then John is the eagle, which is the most spiritual